Greetings to all of you. Today we are going to see the Journal Club Mastery Part 1. In this, we will learn about how to organize and present the scientific research with great impact. We all know that, or we want to know that, journal clubs are a familiar activity in academic and research institutions, but their effectiveness varies widely. Some journal clubs inspire deep discussion, while others become routine, mechanical, and forgettable. In this presentation, we will focus on how to organize and lead a journal club so that it actually contributes to scientific thinking. This first part is not about presenting slides or figures. It is about building the right structure, culture, and workflow for meaningful research discussion. By the end of this session, you should clearly understand what makes a journal club effective and what silently causes it to fail. Okay. A common misconception is that journal clubs are mainly about reading papers. In reality, reading is only the entry point. The true purpose of a journal club is to develop critical thinking. Participants should question why a study was designed in a particular way, whether the methods are appropriate, and whether the conclusions are justified by the data. Unlike seminars, journal clubs encourage dialogue rather than one-way communication. They help participants move from passive listening to active scientific reasoning. When done well, journal clubs improve reading habits, discussion skills, and confidence in handling research literature. So, it is not just a passive listening, it will lead to a critical thinking over passive listening. So that we can confirm that effective journal clubs matter because it have the empirical evidence. So in this building the routine and the community, we will learn about consistency and psychological safety are the bedrocks of a successful journal club. A successful journal club depends on as much on people as it does on papers. Consistency is essential. A fixed schedule helps participants plan and attend regularly. Equally important is psychological safety. Participants, especially students, must feel that it is acceptable to ask questions, express confusion, or disagree respectfully. A simple rule helps. There are no bad questions in a journal club. Any type of questions you can ask related to this research work. You don't want to get confused that whether the question is very bad, or you don't want to think that whether the question is right or wrong. You can ask the very basic question to the presenter so that you can get some enormous learnings from that answer. Okay, so when this environment is getting created in all the research community, junior members participate more actively and discussions become richer and more honest. So you don't want to bother about asking the questions. You just ask the questions so that you can learn from the basics. Okay, so you need to have students that are interested in the club in the first place, and I would also say interested in hanging out with each other. So two-way communication is very much important in journal club. Okay, let's proceed to the organizers logistics toolkit. So we need to follow some toolkit which is administrative friction skills, engagement, automate and organize using this framework. Even the best intentions can fail due to poor organization. Logistics may seem minor, but they strongly influence engagement. Clear roles should be defined: who presents, who moderates, and who leads discussions. Papers must be circulated in advance, not at the last minute. Attendance tracking and feedback mechanisms help improve future sessions. The organizer's role is not to control discussion but to remove obstacles. When logistics run smoothly, participants can focus entirely on understanding and debating the science. So, we want to circulate the paper before coming to the journal club presentation. Then obviously the people who is attending this journal club will get prior familiarization in that research paper. So while we are talking in the journal club, definitely they will have some deep understanding in the concepts. So pre-reading strategy, it is called as ideal for everyone to read before coming to the journal club presentation. Okay. Okay, now we want to see about how to curate the content for maximum engagement. The presentation should not be a monotonous one. It should be something more engaged. So that the way of selecting the paper will itself determine the participation. So we want to avoid the trap of only picking papers that the groups has already read. So we don't want to pick the paper which has been already read. Avoid the trap of only picking papers the group has already read. Okay, so that we could not make the engagements. So the choice of paper determines the quality of discussions that we want to keep in mind. Okay, so paper should be relevant to the group's interests, but they should also encourage learning beyond familiar territory. So it should be relevance, and it want to encourage the learning beyond familiar territory. So you want to avoid selecting papers only because they are more high impact journals. The scientific quality, clarity of methods, and discussion potential matter more than journal prestige. Occasionally, breaking routine by selecting interdisciplinary papers or inviting external perspectives that can refresh interest and spark new ideas. Okay, so as a pro tip, you break the routine, invite the external speakers who can be the visiting scientists, biotech reps, or science communications persons. Okay, to conclude this part, an effective journal club is built on thoughtful organization, consistent routines, and a supportive academic culture. When these foundations are strong, discussions become meaningful and productive. In the next session, we will move from organization to execution. Thank you, all of you.